when we say that the cruelty is the point, that the inhumanity of Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, and the like has no bounds. This is what we mean.
You've removed from our country and sent home. And we're going to send more home for the holidays, too, and make sure that they get to be with their families in their countries. Yes.
Mostly the bad ones.
That's right. Pam.
Focus is the bad ones.
That's right.
And there are a lot of them.
They're terrible, horrible people. And Pam, make sure she's fighting for us in court so that we can get up every day and be bold. We're going to hire our 10,000th ICE officer. Will be on the job within 10 days. So we have hired 10,000. We've had hundreds of thousands of applications.
In case you missed it at the beginning there, where it got cut off slightly, Kristi Noem was explaining that 2 million immigrants have been deported out of the United States so far this year. She said 2 million have gone home already. People that were here illegally, you have removed and sent home. We're going to send more home for the holidays too. And then they all had a good laugh about it. The United States of America was the home of those 2 million human beings that the Trump regime abducted and deported out of this country. Some of them were deported back to the countries they were born in. Some of them were sent to foreign nations where they don't speak the language. They don't have a legal right to work. They don't have family and don't know anybody, because the cruelty is the point. I wanted to see how various news outlets were framing this press conference today. Are they saying the Trump regime has kicked millions of people out of this country? The Trump regime is separating families, destroying families. They're laughing about kicking people out of their homes, deporting them, ripping them away from their children or their parents, ripping them away from their communities and their jobs, their homes of potentially decades. At the Christmas season. Is that how newspapers are framing it? No, not really. USA Today, for example, took up the Trump regime's talking points, saying 2 million immigrants without legal authority to remain in the country have gone home. This was their home. This is their home, and we have deported them. By the way, did you hear Kristi Noem bragging about ICE hiring 10,000 agents? 10,000. The American Gestapo is 10,000 strong. Now, we heard last month or in late October, I believe, that the average ICE agent costs the American taxpayer about $230,000 a year by the time they have their salary paid for and their health insurance and their retirement and everything else. So you do that math, 232,000 times 10,000, that's $2.3 billion taxpayer dollars. And speaking of statistics, and because we should not trust a single thing coming out of Kristi Noem's mouth, where do they get this 2 million figure? Apparently, it's from this right-leaning Center for Immigration Studies that has estimated a decline of 2.2 million internationally born people in the United States. That figure represents the largest one-year drop in decades. Actually, it's just the first 6 months. But ICE's own statistics, again, we can't trust any numbers coming out of the federal government. You know, used to be that the federal government was a reliable source of information. Now it's just like straight up lies and propaganda. They just make up shit. They just make it up. So who knows? Who knows whether these numbers are accurate? ICE statistics say that 320,000 people were deported during the fiscal year that began September 30th. So last 3 months of Biden's administration, and then the first part of this year under Donald Trump. ICE also says that 56,000 deportations happened in October and November. Who knows if it's actually 2 million or not? We don't know. And that doesn't necessarily mean 2 million deported. It also means people who have voluntarily left. It includes the brain drain. It includes immigrants who are more highly educated, who can get jobs in other countries and are skedaddling. But also in that press conference where they're laughing about ruining the lives of immigrants and their families at the holidays, nothing like talking about ripping families apart at the Christmas season to get a good laugh. While they're doing that in this press conference, they talk about how Trump is focusing on the worst immigrants. The focus is on the bad ones, he said. I mean, don't forget that yesterday on her social media, Kristi Noem advocated for a travel ban for 30 additional countries and claimed that immigrants are flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Does she have any shred of humanity left? Does she have any decency? Oh God. I guess I really thought there were fewer sociopaths in our society. I realize that's like an outdated term, but I really thought that they weren't quite so prevalent. But I just feel like person after person after person in this regime checks all the boxes. Remember when Congresswoman Nancy Mace said that for fun, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, she watches videos of ICE raids? Remember when Kristi Noem did that photo shoot, concentration camp style photo shoot in front of all of the men who she had illegally sent to the torture gulag in El Salvador? They revel in this. They enjoy this. This is not just a lucrative job for them. This is something from which they derive pleasure. It's so far beyond the banality of evil. It's giving zone of interest, but just, it's not that this is normalized for them. They are the ones normalizing it for the rest of society. They are the ones who are passionate about committing an ethnic cleansing, who derive entertainment and enjoyment from committing an ethnic cleansing. So in that clip, Trump said the focus is on the bad ones. Kristi Noem made it sound like they are deporting the worst of the worst, right? It is all violent thugs, rapists, murderers, criminals, except that's not true. That's not true. It's now fewer than 5% of those taken by ICE have any criminal record for violent crimes at all. 95% of people taken abducted by ICE have no violent criminal history. According to the Cato Institute, which is a libertarian think tank, y'all, they're not a left-leaning organization. Around 70% of folks abducted by ICE have no criminal history at all. And those that do have something on their record, it's like driving without a valid driver's license or something related to their immigration status. These are overwhelmingly good, hardworking people who live in this country, pay taxes in this country, hold down a good job, are raising their families, contribute meaningfully to our society. And the lies about them are just unbelievable. I don't know who is believing this. These are not leeches and entitlement junkies. Undocumented immigrants can't get Medicaid. They aren't on SNAP. These are hardworking people that pay in to our system. They pay taxes and they can't draw Social Security out of it. They can't get Medicaid out of it. We are leeching off of them. Losing their tax contribution is going to have a significant negative impact, by the way. People aren't really talking about that yet. But for me, watching this clip, it's the holidays. It's the holidays. I anticipated that they were going to try and ramp up immigration actions over the holiday season. It's the same way Kristi Noem refused to call off ICE raids on Halloween, even though Governor Pritzker asked her to. Because the cruelty is the point. Traumatizing an entire generation of children is the point. The ethnic cleansing is the point. They enjoy it. They profit off of it. It gives them a sense of power and control. It's advancing their authoritarian agenda. So why would they back off from it? Fascists don't stop until you stop them. And they will not stop at immigrants. Oh, by the way, real quick at the end here, let me just leave you with a little clip of what Trump was doing in this press conference.
And we want our workforce to be educated. We do not need the numbers that we have seen across this country where our 4th through 8th graders cannot read, write, or do any math, and they are our future workforce. We have to depend on the American workforce.